I think we're at 9 o'clock, 1 minute past. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the System for Success webinar. Before I introduce our speaker tonight, I'm going to just do our end of month welcome and recognition. Now, it's not everybody that joined in the period, it's just everybody that joined in the last couple of weeks we missed out this last week because we had the fabulous Claire Kinsella. And because we're talking about recognition and talking about Claire being on last week, she kept this very, very quiet. As she was doing her training last week, she knew that she had a mini or 10 grand in the bag. And she never told us. She kept that quiet, but what a major achievement. But the thing that excited me about Claire's training is the year 1, year 2, year 3. So if you can't remember that, go back to the Rhino group and look at my cover photograph and see year 1, year 2 and year 3. They're practically doing nothing, but they kept on going through the ups and downs. So welcome to the team in the last couple of weeks to Hazel McPhail, Natalie Brown, Anna Irvin, Mia DeVito, Kelly Burchill, Heather Watt, Lindsay Hamilton. That's now there's when you make a mistake with your animations. Sorry about this, folks. It's a great, it's a good job that you can actually edit the videos. Right. What we want to do now is the recognition. So there's been a lot of you beating your best, so well done here. Beat your best in the retail. We have got Janet Downey, Shona Scott, Heather and Francis Thorpe, Jim and Jane White, Colin Field, John Renton, Mary Stewart, and Tom and Kate Forbes. Well done, you guys, beating your best. That's fantastic. I'm the only one that's allowed to be noisy. And there's only one person in the beat you're sponsoring, and it's our wee Anne Hillis.
Yay!
Well done, Anne. And Anne has introduced 5 people recently. I don't know what the time span is. And 4 of them have came from Facebook. And 1 of them has came from buying leads. Just thought I'd let you know that. Welcome Rewards 1. Congratulations to Anne-Marie Johnston, Stephen Anderson, Hazel McPhail and Lindsay Hamilton. Well done, you guys. That's the very most important one, is the first welcome reward. And here we have Anne-Marie Johnston, and she also achieved her 2nd welcome reward. So well done to Anne-Marie. And the 3rd welcome reward, that's Kirsty Adams, got her 3rd welcome reward. So well done, Kirsty. She's doing her artistic voice class tonight, but hopefully she'll be on later on. So congratulations, everybody. Way to go. Sales plan progression, bonus plan progression. Anne-Marie Johnston, a wonderful achievement. Anne-Marie did over £1,000. Jane will have to give us a figure. She can unmute herself. If you want to talk, unmute yourself and mute yourself, but not during the training.
Thank you.
Anne-Marie Johnston achieved over £1,000 in her first 4 weeks. That's fantastic. Kirsty Adams on her first 10%. Kirsty Adams was actually crying when she achieved her bonus. She says, I'm greeting. She was so excited to get that bonus. So well done, Kirsty. And Shona Scott, who are we? Shona achieving 13%. Well done, Shona, Kirsty and Anne-Marie.
Hey. Well done, Shona. Thank you.
Well done, Shona. That's brilliant. Way to go. Way to go. And we have the Las Vegas League table and our speaker tonight. And we've got Tom and Kate Forbes, who are currently number 2 in the league table for the bronze executives. No pressure. So well done to Tom and Kate. I'm not going to go big whoop to do, because I know that you feel under pressure because you've got to stay there till the end of the year. Without any further ado, I'm now going to make Kate the host, which I haven't done yet, Kate. Okay. And Kate is going to do her training tonight on going for no. Now ask Kate, because she's been doing this for a while, and she gets me really motivated when she talks about it. asked her to do a training tonight on it. So she's put a great training together, and she's going to go through it with you now. And that's you over to Kate, who I'm going to hopefully get on the screen so the people who are tuning in online can at least see Kate. That's it, we can see you, Kate. Over to you, Kate.
It's fine if you don't have me in the corner, Lynn. It's absolutely fine. I'm loaded with a cold. Not really a good look. I've got a big box of tissues beside me. I'm sitting in my bed and I've got the puppy running in and out the whole time. So I'll apologise in advance if there's any sort of bits of disturbance, or because he wants to run over the computer screen all the time. That's him rattling back in again. So sorry about that. So Lynn's asked me to do a wee training about Go for No. Go for No is a concept that a book was brought out a couple of years ago by Andrea Waltz and Richard Fenton called Going for No. And basically what happened was that they had recognised that most people in the business, of course, everybody in the business that decides to do some team building is obviously looking for people to say yes to their business. But what a lot of people overlook is the fact that in order to get the yeses that you want, you're going to have to go out there and look for no's. You have to be prepared to hear the word no. Not everybody likes the word no. It does feel like rejection, although it's not personal rejection, as you'll see in a minute. But, people who are looking for a lot of yeses in their business are, just willing to hear the word no a bit more often than anybody else. Well, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to change that screen. So you're probably going to need to work the slides. Okay. So what's the difference between an average distributor and a successful one? Successful distributors like Claire Kinsella, Nikki Kaywood, Bob Webb, the serious people in the business, the only difference between them and us is that they are willing to hear the word no. They go for no. They actively go out and look for the no's. They don't worry how many yeses they're going to get. They go out and look for no's. Okay. And the people who win the trips, the trophies, and the cars are not sitting there waiting for yeses. They're actively going out and looking for no's. I watch people like Jackie McCormick, Claire Kinsella, Nikki Kaywood. They're out there all the time prospecting for their business, and not everybody by a long chalk that they speak to is going to come into the business. They're going to hear no more often than they hear yes, unless they're Anne Hillis, in which case you're going to hear yes a lot more than you hear no, and that's certainly been happening in the last couple of weeks. I think you've lost the plot, and you're not going for no, you're going for a yes. Okay, but just keep doing what you're doing. It's fantastic, absolutely brilliant, well done. So basically, the successful people have just heard no more than anybody else. But remember that every no brings you a lot closer to a yes. If you listen to any child, any toddler, children know that every no is going to bring them closer to a yes. So they're in the supermarket and they're wanting sweets. They're in the toy shop and they're wanting toys. It's coming up to Christmas and they want this, that, and the next thing from Santa. And no matter how many times they hear the word no in the shop or the toy shop, or when they're wanting to watch a TV show or whatever, no matter how often they hear the word no, they'll never, ever, ever, ever give up. They'll just keep going until they get a yes. And a lot of parents will eventually give in and just say yes to shut them up, basically. So it's the same in the business. You're going to hear no a lot more often than you hear yes, but the yeses are definitely worth it. Okay. So just remember that rejection isn't personal. People are not saying no to you. They're saying no to themselves. Usually they're saying no because they don't have belief. They don't know what you're talking to them about. They don't have any belief in a business that they know nothing about. They don't have any confidence in themselves. They don't have any knowledge of what you're showing them. They don't know how they can do what you're showing them that they can do. And you can teach them how to do it. You've got belief in them, but very often most people looking at the business don't have any belief in themselves unless they've been involved in a similar type of business and they've got very high self-esteem, but most people are not like that. So don't ever think that no means no, not ever. It usually means no, not yet, or no, I need more information, or no, not now. It doesn't necessarily mean no, not ever. Okay. So just bear with it and it'll come right for you. Okay. So like everything we do in the business, it's a numbers game. If you want more sales in your business, you need to do more catalogues, post more adverts, talk to more people, demonstrate more products. Just do more. Just get your name, your brand out there, and as far as possible, show your business to as many people as possible. It's exactly the same with sponsoring. The only way you can increase your success rate is to intentionally increase your failure rate. Okay, now don't be nervous about that. It's just something it's just the way it is. The successful people, if they tracked back for how much money they made for every time they heard a no, it would actually scare you. It would make you want to do it a lot faster. Okay. If you want to sponsor one person a week, which is what's recommended by Claire Kinsella's team, Craig White's team, the Peter and Jackie White Vision Group, etc. What they are teaching is to sponsor one new person a week. Okay. So in order for that to happen, you have to know your numbers. Okay.
And us, Kate. Yeah. We teach that since the beginning of time.
Yeah, that's right. So we recommend that to begin with, if you're looking to sponsor one new person a week, you're going to have to generate about 50 leads. Okay. Use your tracker, use your planner, use whatever you have to do to take a track of your numbers. From 50 leads, most people would have 10 real live conversations, as in people answering the phone or people face to face or people that are actually having a conversation with. 10 conversations or 10 presentations, and from that most people would register one new person in the business. Okay, so set a no goal for the week. Okay, the higher your no goal, the more yeses you'll have. If you go for no as fast as you can, you'll get the yeses a lot faster as well. It's the fast painless way actually is the way forward. If you sit and think about it for too long, you'll never get started because you're frightened to hear no. Just don't be, just go for it as fast as you can. Okay, so what's a no? Andrea and Richard Fenton teach that you must hear the no. Okay, there's so many things that are not a no, but people hear it as a no, but it isn't. Most people don't want to say no, so they'll stall and procrastinate with you, and they won't say the word that you're longing to hear. The word you're longing to hear is, of course, yes, but you need to hear the no before you hear the yes. Okay, so a no is not people that haven't seen the videos yet. It's not no reply when you call them. It's not people you can't get hold of. It's not maybe next month. It's not I'll think about it for another couple of weeks. It's not leaving messages that are not returned. It's not being able to get hold of people. It's not a no-show when you arrange to call them. Those are not no's. You haven't heard the no in any of that. Okay, and that's a not yet. That's a not now. That's a not today. That's a maybe next week. Okay, that's not a no. Okay, you have to hear the no. So here come the no's. Okay, right. I know you can fairly reliably say that if they block you on Facebook, that's a no. Okay, if they hang up the phone when you try and speak to them, if you're calling them and the number disconnects before they answer the phone, maybe that's an accident. But if it happens more than once, that's a no. Hang up the phone. You message them 3 or 4 more times on Facebook. You know they've seen the message, but they don't reply. That's a no. Okay. Or here's a brilliant one. They actually say no. This is what you want to hear, but it's very rare that people will say no. They just don't want to say no. They think it's confrontational and they won't say no to you. Okay. Now, sometimes it's you that says the no. It's not always the person that says the no. Sometimes it's you. So I was speaking to somebody yesterday and I realised they were completely unsuitable for my business and I didn't want to work with them. And I just politely said to them that I didn't think this is what they were looking for, but hope they found what they were looking for. And I walked away before they did. So when you have enough leads coming in, you don't worry about doing things like that. It doesn't happen very often, but sometimes it does. And at the end of the day, you don't need to impress them. You don't need to. You don't need any individual in your business. You need people, but you don't need any individual person. So if it gets to the stage where you're thinking this isn't really going to go anywhere and that's not going to change, if they're not listening, if they're not looking at the information that you've given you, but they still insist that they want you to take time out to tell them personally what your business is about, but they won't watch a 5-minute video, you get to the stage where you wonder how teachable that person will be. Don't be afraid to walk away politely first, so that they don't know you've walked away from them. You've just terminated the conversation and wished them well. Okay. So I've had 2 of those this week as well, so they count towards my no's. Okay. So how to get more no's? Numbers game. Post more ads. Phone, message or text more people from your friends list, warm market, etc. Follow up persistently and consistently till you actually do get hold of them, because you're not going to hear the no until you do get hold of them. Follow up with people that have said no in the past. Okay, so some people use things like contact managers and things like that, where you can send out a broadcast every so often, and every time you send out a broadcast to a number of people that are on your contact manager, if this is a thing that you use, you're going to get undeliverable emails, because some of them have been on your contact manager for a long time. They've changed their email address, they're no longer in communication, you can't get hold of them, they're a no really, because you can't get hold of them again, so you're never going to be able to follow them up again. You do get people that opt out of receiving information from you or ask you to stop texting them or whatever. They're a no, that's fine. But you don't know until you consistently and persistently contact them. Okay, so let them tell you no, or let yourself get to the stage where you're going to tell them no, and that's the only thing that's no. Okay. Did you know that 60% of all customers say no at least 4 times before saying yes? But most leads are not followed up the 5th time. In fact, most leads are not followed up at all. So be the one that goes for no. If somebody has replied to more than one advert and there's 3 or 4 people from Clean Easy or other networks contacting them, the person that is most likely to get them to say yes to their business is the person that goes for no and calls them regularly, follows them up properly, isn't afraid to hear no. In fact, you're waiting for the no. Okay. Right, think speed. Get the no's as fast as you can. Just go for it. Just get it over with. Go for it as fast as you can. Don't waste time. Focus on the no's, but relax and have fun with it. And you'll only relax and have fun with it if you've got more leads coming in than you can handle, right? Because at that point you get to the stage and you think, what's the worst they can say? The worst they can say is no. But you actually want them to say that. Very few people do. But that's what you actually want them to say, because it saves everybody such a lot of time if they say no. So today is the day that no stops stopping me. Just say that to yourself, write that down. Today is the day that no stops stopping me. Don't be afraid to hear the no. Work out what every no is worth to you. If you want to reach Gold Distributor within a year from a standing start, that will give you an average check of £1,000 every 4 weeks. Okay. If you want a £1,000 check, you'll need to sponsor 10 people that do £1,000 worth of sales a period. Plus you would be doing your £1,000 yourself, okay? But to find 10 that'll do 1,000, you're probably going to have to sponsor 50. That's 1 a week. That's exactly what Craig White's team and Claire Kinsella's team and every team is teaching. Ideally, you want to sponsor 1 a week, okay? So if you do that over the period of a year, you'll find 10 people that will actually build a business. So that means that if you're new in the business and you need to speak to 50 leads a week to sponsor 1, that means to sponsor 50 over a year, you'll need 2,500 leads, 50 leads a week. It's amazing how that works out, isn't it? So to get your 50 yeses, you're going to have to prepare yourself to hear 2,450 no's. But 49 no's a week to get 1 yes a week, that's just 7 no's a day. Okay. So again, bonus no's, sometimes you're the one that's going to be saying no when you're confident enough. But a no from you is still a no. Is it easy to get the no as well? Not at first. But is it worth it? Definitely. Okay. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I'm on a Facebook group called the Go for No 7-Day Challenge. And a couple of weeks ago, there was a Go for No 7-Day Challenge webinar on that group. It's been recorded, it's there, it's on the Rhino group, it's on my team group as well. And some of the serious people in my business and myself went on to this webinar. And at the end of the webinar, we started on the webinar link on my team group, we started a wee Go for No thread, and we decided that we were all going to go for no. And I asked everybody in the team how many no's they were going to go for in the 7-day challenge. And everybody said between 50 and 100 no's, okay? Now, I'm a bit of a self-confessed stationery fiend. I have to have nice notebooks, jotters, pens. I hate cheap biros. So I've made myself a Go for No grid for the month of May, which I realise now I don't have enough on it. I should really have 200 spaces for no's. But I'm looking for 100 no's per period, okay? Now at the moment I've got another one there since I took that photograph this morning. I've had another no this afternoon. So I'm only on 13 no's now for the month of May, okay? But down at the bottom where the butterfly is, those are my yeses. So I know my averages are actually more than 1 in 50. So I know that if I fill that grid with no's, I'll be able to fill the bottom grid with yeses. I absolutely know that, because that's the last 30 people I've spoken to. I've sponsored 3 people out of the last 30. And that's how I know what my averages are at the moment, based on where I'm getting my leads from at the moment. I know that that's my average, okay? But the object of my exercise is to fill that grid as fast as I can, okay? And I might as well make it fun. I've got smiley faces in there for my nose and nice colourful butterflies for my yeses. Okay. So use Go for No to your advantage. Use the grid to get your nose, the tracker to know how many leads you're doing to get your nose. Use your tracker to track your numbers. You need to be able to bring people into the business and be able to teach them how many leads that they're going to have to be speaking to in order to get the results that they want, which is one person a week sponsored in. Okay, so yep, there's the tracker there. Yep, okay. So I've got my wee grid there. Had my grid come up yet? I've got my wee grid in my notebook.
Yeah, but that one, you covered that one.
Yep.
I'll go back.
Yeah, so that one, right? Okay. The grid and the tracker. Okay. So my team are actually been really good with this. I've been keeping this on the one thread in my team group, and everybody's just reporting in their nose every day, which is great. And Lynn actually said to me she was really loving that thread because we can see who's who's working their numbers, working their leads, going for no, not worrying about it, being more than happy to get their nose, big smiley faces and so on. Okay, so find out who in your team can get to 100 no's first for the period or the calendar month, whatever you're working at. And when you get faster and you know that you can do 100 no problem in a month, up your ante a wee bit and go for 200 rather than 100, and that should definitely get you sponsoring at least one person a week. Okay, so here's my guarantee: you will not hear 100 no's, and they have to be real no's. Be honest with yourself. You won't hear 100 no's before you hear a yes. Okay, so just be ready to go for no. If you're not frightened to go for no, you'll be going for yes and yes and yes and yes without a doubt. Okay, so I'm just going to finish up with a recommendation for a book for you. We always like to recommend the books in this business. Okay, we don't get paid for recommending the books, but this particular one, absolutely fantastic book, The Go for No for Network Marketing by Richard Fenson and Andrea Waltz. And I think I paid about £8 for that on Amazon or something like that. Absolutely fantastic book that'll teach you how to do it and have fun with it, have a laugh with it, and not be worried about hearing no. Just be worried about how many leads you've got coming in. If you're working enough leads, you won't care what the outcome of every individual call is. And that's really it. It's just working numbers, just like everything else. Anybody that says no to you, they're not rejecting you. They're really rejecting, something that they thought they wanted for themselves and aren't prepared to go for. But if you're prepared to go for no, you'll build a massive business. So that's me, and I'm very sorry I disappeared again. It's not intentional. It happened the last time as well. Me and my technology.
Thanks, Kate. That was brilliant.
Welcome, no problem at all.
That was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. But Kate got excited as Kate has been doing this for a while. She goes back to her figures for last year, and it was just Kate and me talking on the phone where she's talking about her own business, saying, I was looking at my figures for last year, and this is what I've done, and I know if I do this, I can get this. And it was the way that was presented that really, I thought that it would be a good idea for her to share that with everybody. So thanks very much, Kate. That was brilliant.
You're welcome.
So anybody got any questions?
Yeah.
I don't have a question, but I was saying to Ursh, it actually puts a positive spin on getting no.
That's the lady Andrea Waltz who presents the Go for No webinars is the cheeriest person you could ever imagine meeting. She's just fabulous, and she goes for no every day of her life. And I mean, most people are just so frightened of going for no that they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear no. Nobody likes hearing no. Everybody wants to hear yes. But you can't hear the yes until you've heard enough no's, and that's the bottom line. So yeah, it is a really positive thing, I was sitting in the car today for an hour waiting for Callum coming out of his keyboard lesson, and I had about 3 or 4 books with me. I was sitting in the car, and I thought, I'm just going to try and get some no's before the webinar tonight, because I only had 1 no for the day, and I managed to get another one sitting in the car. I made about 8 or 9 calls sitting in the car where I just could have sat there and reading my book.
Yeah.
But if you've got a target to go for and you want to hear no enough times, and you know that every time you hear a no, it's getting you closer to a yes, you're going to go and get the no's, even if you're just sat in the car, whatever you're doing, just do you have half an hour to make some calls? Yeah. Do you want to make the calls? No. Do you want to get some more no's in your grid? Yeah. Let's just get it done. Because those 2 no's today are two no's closer to where I want to be that I've had today. So Just
I
go
like
for it.
the grid. I like the grid with the smile
Yeah, the grid's good.
and the butterflies.
Yeah.
I like
well,
that.
I went to I discovered a shop called The Range. I'm probably the last person on the planet to discover The Range. But honestly,
No,
just I actually went down to check out things like goal boards and things like that, because I'm getting some goal boards sorted out in the next week or two. And I spotted all these wee stickers, and I thought, oh, those will be really good in my grid, because I love colouring in. I'm just a real stationery addict, you know. But they had butterflies and owls and everything. They'd loads of them, loads of different ones. But I got the smiley ones for my nose, because I thought, you know, every no I get is going to make me smile, because, you know, the person that eventually says no to you, they probably think they're upsetting you by saying no. But if you've got a big grin in your face because it knows what you wanted to hear, you know, it's not going to have an adverse effect on you. That's just the way it is. So
I think what I like about the going for no, what they train is, what you highlighted that tonight, is the fact that it's a real no.
Yeah. You've got to hear the no. Yeah.
It's not the kidding yourself on here. You have to get the yes or the no. And with that in your mind, you approach your leads completely differently. Does that make sense to everybody listening?
Yeah. It's not.
That's the penny drops there. That was brilliant.
It's not over until you've got an answer, and the answer is yes or no.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, that's really the thing that people kid themselves on about. They think, oh well, I phoned 14 numbers today. I only spoke to 4 people. So I've got 10 no's. You haven't got 10 no's. You've got 10 people you never spoke to. They're not no's. They've not been given the option yet to say yes or no. So you have to follow them up and keep following them up until you get a yes or a no. That's the only outcome you want. There's nothing in that grid for maybes, is there? That's a grid for no's and a grid for yeses. There's no grid for, you know, they've gone out or didn't answer the phone. I don't know about
anybody else who's watching, but I think the other side of the coin is because we've been doing so much online, which can mean that, you know, how many emails do you send, how many follow-ups, but I think that because we've been doing so much online, what's kind of got a bit lost in the grey areas is we do have to follow up till the death to get that yes or your no. It was a wee bit cloudy. Does that make sense? It's the
online ones, if it's people that you're messaging on Facebook Messenger, right? If you send the information to them and you know that they've seen it, because you get the picture up saying that they've seen it. If they've seen it, you can wait a couple of hours and then message them back and say, did you see the information? If you see that they've seen it again and they don't respond to you, try again a couple of days later or a different time of day or something like that. If you message them 3 or 4 times and every time you do that, you know they've seen the message, eventually you realise that you're being rubber-eared, right? So
a no.
That is technically a no, although you've not heard the no, but you have heard the no because you've seen that they've seen your message, right? But if they haven't seen your message, it's not a no. But you can only message them so many times and know that they've seen your message without replying. Eventually, you would know that those were no's, or you know, obviously, if they block you on Facebook, or you know, then obviously those are no's. But you know, but for the other ones, the people that you're texting with no reply, and you don't know that they've seen the message, they're not really no's.
That's right. So how many was in your wee grid? Because I'm taking.
Well, I've got questions.
Just one more question. I think maybe we could have 50 in the grid if we're going for 50 no's in a week.
Well, I've got 100 in mine. I wanted 100 no's in
the one that was 2 was that 100? Was
it? I've got 100. It's 10 wide by 10 deep of no's, and then I've got 10 boxes for yes.
Yeah, so you wanted it to be 200. Well, we could do 4. It could go and coincide with the weekly activity tracker. Have the grid every week with 50 in it.
I mean, if you're going for 100, if you're going for 100 no's in a 30-day month, that's between 3 and 4 no's a day. If you're going for 200 no's in a 30-day month, that's 7 no's a day. So once you get up to speed, go for 7 no's a day, and don't go to bed till you've got them. If you can do 100, you can do 200, right? But most people, when they start the business, they don't want to hear 1, let alone 200. So you have to build up your numbers like that.
What I will say, Kate, the people who are using David Pemberton's Miss Activity Tracker and Planner, Heather's been using it with me. She's exceeding 50 leads. So for everybody else, I can't see everybody, I can only see myself. Everybody else who's listening, if you aren't using, there's Heather there. Heather, can you just confirm I mean, you've been doing the activities, but Heather's been using that. Heather's been doing activities previous to using David's tracker and planner. However, because she had so many bands in the past, it's like standing start from scratch again. And within a few weeks, I mean, Heather's leads were got to the 50 really quickly on a weekly basis. And at the last training, she got over 90 in a day. Okay, so that's using the activity tracker. I know we're not talking about that, but I'm just getting a wee plug for the activity tracker here, because I see the activity tracker and Kate, the grid that Kate did, going hand in hand. So if you're not doing that, you have to start to do it, because you will get the leads. But I love this, even though somebody else speak, I just wanted to push that. Sorry. Kate, Jane.
Hello.
Can I just say, Kate, you were saying about folk. I had one girl who, well, there's two. One was in Messenger, and she saw the message. She didn't respond to me. I did another one, I think it was 3 or 4 days later. And about a week after that, I got a message back, and she joined the business. Now, from start to finish, it was near enough 3 months, believe it or not. So sometimes there is one that does slip through the net. Same in the text. I texted somebody a fortnight ago. I got a message back this morning. I very nearly took that as a no, because I sent a text saying, did you have a chance to have a look at the information I sent to you? Was it of any interest to you? Now, 2 weeks ago, now I could quite easily have deleted that and archived the lead. I didn't. And I got a message back this morning, and when I got the message back this morning, I said to her, can I give you a phone now? And she came back through and said yes. So I phoned and spoke to her this morning.
Can I just say something? Because what I was thinking, like when Kate was doing the training, there are going to be the odd one that's no necessarily a no. With the phone calls, if somebody's blanking you in the phone or hanging up, or no messaging, generally 99% of them are going to be no's. But there is going to be the odd one. But because we teach you to keep the door open, we are sending, Kate's saying, send them message, and then what we want you to do is psychologically accept that that's a no. And 1% comes back later, fantastic, because the other part of Kate's training was people need to see it a few times. 60% of people say no 3 or 4 times before they say a yes. So we can keep them in our online shop. We can keep them, as Jane keeps them in the archive. I know Jane doesn't delete leads, she keeps them in the archive. But the whole point is to get these numbers working that way. Does that make sense? That was a good point, though, Jane.
Sorry, yes. I just think it's, it's kind of silly to get rid of any of your leads, unless you don't, as Kate says, unless you really don't want them. If it's someone who's just wanting your attention, let them go and find somebody else. We don't,
I mean, I don't. I've got a contact manager, as you know, and all my leads. I never ever take any leads off that unless they opt out or whatever. If they they've made it quite clear they don't want to hear from you. In other words, I've said no, that's fine. The Facebook leads, as long as you have to keep a very careful record of who you're speaking to there, though, because you're finished those conversations, you really need to archive them, and they're still there, but they're on the archive until you decide to get back to them. So you need to keep a really, really close record of those ones and know when you're due to get back to them. If you've arranged to contact them again in 3 months or whatever, they're still not known, they're still active leads, but but you have to keep your kind of hot leads and your current leads in front of you all the time, because those are the ones you're dealing with. But a no isn't a no until they've said a no, until you've heard the no, really. So always keep those ones in the back burner and go back to them you know, periodically, and you know, always have enough new leads coming in, because the new fresh leads coming in are the ones that are more likely to say no to you, because to say yes to you, because they're looking and they're looking now.
Kate, see that book? Ray Higdon's name's on the bottom of it.
Yeah.
He's actually, have you ever watched his webinars with his wife, Jessica? Oh, they're absolutely brilliant.
I know, I've heard of Ray Higdon. He's contributed to that book, because they had a Go for No book a couple of years ago that, in fact, they came, remember this, Lynn, they came and spoke, and Jane will remember as well, they came and spoke at a Clean Easy Showcase once, remember?
Yeah.
And they were absolutely brilliant, and you know, that was when, you know, really the Go for No concept hit Clean Easy, really. But now they've rewritten a network marketing version, because the original one that they wrote was for anybody really in business, and anybody that wanted to achieve more in their life and get, you know, work through numbers and handle rejection a bit in their, you know, a normal sales job and stuff. So now they've
Eric Worre's quite good as well.
Contributed to.
Yeah, Eric Worre, we would recommend him as well.
Aye.
Yeah.
Good for you, reading these books, Anne-Marie. You know,
Yeah,
also, there's another good one, is Bob Proctor. He's really good.
That's right, Dr. Bob
Proctor.
Proctor. Yeah. Good. The more of these type of books you read, they go hand in hand with our business.
Yep.
Well, I really enjoyed that. Who's going to be doing the activity tracker in the grid? Kate, can I ask a question? See that wee grid, the way that you did it, was that just your own reinvention, or is that in the book?
Yeah, it's mine.
Was that your own? I'm thinking, I never seen that in the book.
No, that's mine. That's mine, because I'm a stationery freak. And I saw something, and I like, you know, I was.
No, I like that though. I like that. I think that should be put
in the box in the date. But now I'm just putting a wee sticker in, because that's.
Kate, you can come and organise me.
I'm the world's oldest colourer, and I love colouring in stationery and books and things, and I bought myself some Dreamcatcher stickers as well. I don't know if you can see that for the front of my notebook.
Oh, I like that.
I've got them in my goals pages as well.
Kate, so I just want to say one thing. You and me are never allowed to go shopping together. We'll end up with a freaking stationery shop in the two houses.
Oh yes.
Likes pretty colours.
Absolutely.
Right, before I go, just to remind you of the next System for Success training, it is not going to be next weekend because I'm in Mexico. Obviously, no, I can't change the date.
Why not?
I'm in Mexico, darn.
You can do it from the beach, come on.
Oh God, it's such a hard life, you know, having to go to Mexico and having to shop online and stuff. I can't even bother. Anyway, the next System for Success training, which, as you know, guys, it goes out there live. We're going to have a wee bit of fun. We're going to have it in-house somewhere. We're going to gate crash somebody's house, and we're going to give. What I'm going to be doing when I'm in Mexico is I'm going to be getting tips from people who are there, and I'm going to be recording just 2 or 3 minutes tips. The big people in there, they're not going to go out live. I'm going to be sharing them at our next training, which is Saturday. I've got to look at the dates because I had the other date in my brain and I never wrote. The 27th. Saturday the 27th, venue to be arranged, Central Scotland, but it's going to be about Mexico and getting to Vegas, because believe it or not, although this is May, it's not nowhere too late to start getting into these tables and getting qualifying for these events. Rob Foster went bronze executive in 3 periods, so you can do whatever you believe you can do. So as we have your Wednesday webinars, just to remind you that in 2 weeks' time, we're hoping to get some volunteers from the field for you guys to do a very, very short either testimonial, like we practiced tonight, and I will remind for the people who came on later what you need to put in a testimonial, just a brief testimonial or a very short training on something that you're doing just now that you're successful at. Hill is sponsoring. I know you're really shy, Anne, but you could just do the slides and I could talk for you. Just planting the wee seed, but something you're doing it now currently, and you're creating success with it. And if you're a wee bit nervous, or even if you've maybe not got the success that you desire and you don't want to train yet, then let's do a testimonial, because if we start to do stuff like that, it starts to develop us in the business, and it really will help you to grow as a person. You don't have to tell me just now who's volunteering, but Jane White and Kate Forbes and Heather will be on your case. So I think that's it. The next training, please put it in your diary. It's going to be an exciting one. See you all next Wednesday, but 2 weeks on Wednesday, it's going to be your show with me and
Lynn,
us helping. Yes, Mary?
you're saying Saturday the 27th.
Is that the wrong day?
No, but that coincides with the 10 steps at Dalkeith.
I do know it's clashing, but I've no choice but to clash, because otherwise it'd be no training at all, because I'm in Mexico next week. Do you know what I mean? And the 10 steps changed the day their trainings, unfortunately. Hopefully you'll choose mine, because we're working together as a team. Teamwork makes the dream work. If we want to grow together, the team that work together grow together. We're working together. In my opinion, it makes sense to choose mine this time. I do try my hardest not to clash, but you know, we're working together, so that would just be my thoughts on that. And they did change them, and they changed 2 of them, and then they're back to the beginning of the month. So we might have a problem with a couple of trainings, but after that, the 10 steps is back to the beginning of the month. I don't know why they changed the dates, but they did. So,
was it not? It might have been to accommodate the Falkirk.
That's what it was. I knew they'd changed them for a reason, but I couldn't remember, Kate. It'd be the Falkirk one.
Maybe not.
It's going to be exciting. We're going to have loads of people from Mexico. I'll even get our managing director doing a bit for you. I'll get somebody really huge live. Who do you want live? Speak to your sponsors. We'll get people live on Facebook. So, thanks very much for that, Kate. Anybody else want to ask Kate anything before I shoot to get my dinner? Because I never eat my dinner. Do you want to see Kate? Any more questions?
No, just thank you so much, Kate.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Kate.
Oh, you're welcome.
Got a wee question.
Thanks, Kate.
Sorry, I went missing again.
Just talking to yourself.
I know.
I don't know why I bother Ursula.
Actually, she does it all the time. She talks to herself all the time. Jane, we did hear you. I was aware of you, but everybody started to thank Kate, so I was just pausing. I knew you were asking a question.
I was wondering, see, when you're in Mexico, what would be really good? You could put something up in your Rhino group.
Yeah, I will be doing Facebook Live, but the actual tips I'm saving for our training to encourage people to come. But yeah, you guys can tell me what kind of things. Sometimes it can be quite difficult because you're socialising and drinking.
So nothing with anybody in budgie smugglers.
Budgie smugglers? No, I'm not smugglers.
Speedos. No Speedos, then we're fine.
Oh, no Speedos. No videos of Gavin Scott, because he wears Speedos. So there's a video that I don't know if Jane will remember this, where they see Gavin walking down the beach at the end of the video with Bonnie, and he's got Speedos on. It's in the video.
Remember Mike Bibby though?
No, Mike Bibby did a slot, but that was a different one, Jane.
That was really gross.
I hate Speedos. Why do men wear Speedos? Right, Jane, that's a good question. I will do that, Jane. We will keep online, keep tuned into the Rhino. Well, you get me notifications. Keep your eye open for the notifications. I will be doing live, but I want to keep the valuable tips to build on our training, just to get some excitement. And also on that training, I'm wanting us to plan on being on these events. If you start to use the activity tracker and planner, if you're not already using it, get a grid. We'll put something together. I reckon it's a good idea to have a weekly one with 50. If you're only aiming for 25 those in your first few weeks, Still use the 50 grid and build up to it. When I started in August, and that's why I was saying, Kate, and us, when we started in August 1993, 92, we went for one a week. We've done it since the year dot. It's not everybody's system, it's the system. One a week. It's always been that. And we need the 50 no's. But what you'll find is, like Kate, is eventually you'll get 50 leads and get 5 yeses and 45 no's. Because the more you do, the better your conversion rate gets. And David Pemberton Smith, Kate, did 118 before he got a nose. And just got a nose.
Nice, Anne.
Yeah, but what's actually
I just got a nose.
What's really good about that is that he knows that 118 knows because
exactly. It just was part of his testimony, because I think he was the only person in the world that did that many no's to get a yes.
He's the only one that tracked it properly. He's probably not the only one that's done it, but he's the only one that's tracked it, and he knows that.
Right,
so.
I don't know if he was. Remember, he's in Rob Foster's business, so I think they knew. But I think because Dave was so quiet compared to the
actually no, Jane. Actually, I remember the story with Dave Pemberton Smith. He was doing 10 grand a month before anybody went to see him.
That's right.
He was so quiet. He didn't communicate with them. He had nothing to do with them. And it was Rob Foster said, "This guy's doing 10 grand a month. We need to get down and see him."
And did somebody else not say, but he's doing all right on his own? Maybe we should just let him go on with it. Because I think that was the response.
Somebody else spoke there, Mary.
Well
done, Mary.
Well done, Mary.
Yes, folks.
And I know unusually for Anne, she's got a no as well.
Now just stop jinxing it. Anne needs to get some no's, you know.
I do.
I know.
Lynn, I'm not building at the moment. I'm just doing sales.
That's fine, Anne Marie. You can do whatever it is that you're wanting to do. What's your thoughts on building? Are you
not just now.
Not just now.
That's absolutely fine. And I mean, most of the trainings that we do are online are a combination of everything. You know, how to retail the products online, how to catalogue. So we get lots of different trainings. But it's brilliant that you're on tonight, Anne Marie, and just keep tuning in, because
Lynn, I'm actually going to tell you, I have done team building, but that's why I'm not building at the moment. I'm just doing sales.
That's fine. So something put you off?
No, I'm just doing sales at the moment.
That's absolutely
fine. I want to do my customer base.
Yep.
I think as well, the go for no can be
same.
Just just exactly the same for catalogues, because you know, if you wait until you get, or you assume that if they don't look at the catalogue 3 times or whatever, never open it, that's a no. So it's just a different, it's a different venue, if you like. Instead of a catalogue, it's a person. There's not, we tend to separate it. Sometimes we shouldn't. Sometimes we should realise the business is the business is the business.
I think maybe the reason that we separate it is probably because we're so, I mean, most people go out with the catalogues and kind of accept the conversions, where when we start the team building, we didn't accept the conversions, they focus on the nose and keep you just, you know what I'm saying? So it's maybe that's why I would say it more on the team building side there. But we get loads of no's when we're doing the catalogues, we get no's when we're doing the online selling.
Well, I remember walking down a street in Bannockburn on my own, Jim was working. And I remember counting my catalogues, having 21, no orders. So I said to myself, that's good, I'll get 2 orders soon. So
that's funny, because that's what Heather was talking about that the other day. She said she was getting sales because she knew she would get them, and Fran wasn't, because he didn't think he'd get them. It's something like that, Heather, wasn't it? I don't know if Heather's away. There she is.
But that was, I suppose that's how Jim always seemed to get the orders when he was there, and I always seemed to walk up the street. But I never really expected people to buy from the catalogue.
So they didn't.
So they didn't. Or else I just had grumpy folk on my side.
See, I thought that as well, Lynn. I wasn't expecting to get good sales, and I'm actually surprised because a lot of people where I stay don't like those sort of books, any books whatsoever. And I've had quite a lot of orders from that where I stay.
It's funny how we can prejudge an area just because there's some people, but you've done brilliant, Anne-Marie. We were giving you recognition before you tuned in tonight. I think you would.
No,
I was here.
Did you see the recognition?
I was here.
You've done absolutely brilliant. Well done, by the way. But that,
Thank
you know,
you.
so it's quite good that you're saying that because we get people who, everybody out there, when the people who don't say no, the people that we talk to, one of the objections that you can get is, you know, I don't know if people like it in my area, they didn't like catalogues, or, you know, people come up with these as objections. So just remember, Anne-Marie said that when she started.
Oh, I never came up with an objection because I chapped every bloody door to get my books back and told them, I says, can I get my books back, please? I was quite polite. Oh, no, I don't want one in future. And I made sure I put down on my notes, right, they don't want a book. But no, there was no objections from me whatsoever.
No, I mean, in your head, you were thinking, in your head, I'm saying you were thinking, I wasn't sure if it would work here because the people.
Oh, no, it's just because the other catalogues, like Betterware's round about my area, they're left outside. And obviously, when I've done the cleanies, I've chapped all the doors with the books and got my books back. And I have been quite surprised with the orders. So I'm quite pleased at that.
What was your total order? Can you remember for your first period? Jane,
for my first period, first period is 200. You mean the first week or the all in?
No, what you ended up on, Jane might know your
£1,000.
Well done, Anne-Marie. That's exactly what we say you should aim for in your first period, and you got it spot on.
And that was only 3 weeks.
That was only 3 weeks. Brilliant.
Yeah, because the first week I did all my planning.
Brilliant. So look for catalogue retailers, folks, as well as online people. That's why our system has got how to build the customer door base, how to use your free books, how to build the customer base door to door, because the online does work, but it takes more work. You have to put more time and effort, and we know that people like Zoe Climpton, Jackie McCormick, there's loads of people out there selling well online. But we know that people can get there and make money with the catalogues. We know the online takes a bit more time, patience, and consistent activity. So do both. Right, I promised about. Yes, somebody's speaking. Ursula?
Sorry, yeah, I was just going to say, you mentioned Jackie McCormick. She actually does a live Facebook feed every night with demos and just randomly chatting to people and little bonus boxes where they choose raffle numbers and I think she sells the boxes at like £2 a ticket. And then they get a chance to either gamble the box for another draw or they can keep it. And she's got like baskets for prizes, which has got a couple of products in it. And she gets quite a few orders like that.
Yeah. We know a few people. Claire's doing it as well. Claire can sell a member of your last week's training. I mean, there's some things I wouldn't do because I prefer to duplicate things that don't mean the distributor's putting pennies out there. You know, they've no spending money to make money, but we do sometimes, you know, the odd prize. But I do know there's lots of successful things happening online. We're working our way towards that, but let's use the catalogues as well because the two of them together are really powerful. But what I would say is my best tip tonight is to get that grid going. We will get something made up and we'll email it to you. And if you're not doing an activity tracker and you do want to go to Gold and Beyond, which is over £1,000 income part-time and can be done in 90 days if you start to use the tracker, use your tracker, use the grid, and watch this space. This space. Thanks, Kate. Thanks, everybody, for joining in today.
Thanks, Kate.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kate.
Looking forward to you all in 2 weeks' time.
Goodbye. Go for no.
Go for no.
Go for no. I want to see the feet on the feedback.
Okay.
Go for no. See you later. Hi and bye.
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 Bye.